Welcome back to another biking video on doing stuff and filming it. Today, the Virago is getting a right good service. Right, here's what we are going to be doing. Essentially, the contents of this box. It's a full service. Obviously, oil and filter change. We've got a fuel filter in there, air filter, spark plugs. As you can see, it came from Moto. They gave me a sticker. Not sponsored, I just went online and bought it. And, oh yeah, they include 2 gloves as well, which I may or may not use, as well as important things like your little O-rings, which you need. It's a full service kit. Everything you need is in there, bar tools, and of course the bike. So, yeah, quite happy with that, as long as it all fits. That is, yeah, it turns out buying parts for bikes online is an order of magnitude more difficult than buying parts for cars. But I already knew that. So, reason we're doing this, I don't know the service history of this, as I mentioned when I introduced this bike. Second reason is, I have been out on the bike. Me and my friends did a ride out to Blakeney, which was 69 miles.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
It was a great day, maybe a bit nippy. It was February, but yeah, it was a good day. Nice weather, as nice as you can expect for that time of year. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was out on my big bike. None of them knew I had it. I just turned up on it. They thought I was coming on my 125. I told them I was. Yeah, I just turned up on it, and every single person that turned up, we're like, oh yeah, how you doing? Yeah, nice to see you again. All the, the usual pleasantries. And they were like, whose bike is that? And they'd eventually work out that it's mine. Oh, you got your license? Yeah, oh, congratulations. And then literally just as they've finished, someone else turns up. Whose bike is that? And yeah, went all the way up there and then along the coast round to Hunstanton and then home from there. Great day out, great start to the biking year. But there were a few issues. That clutch problem wasn't fixed by adjusting it. It's still dragging. When it's warmed up, it doesn't do it from a cold start. When it's warmed up, the clutch is still dragging. You can feel the bike wanting to push on as you're coming to a stop. And you can't get it in neutral as a result. You have to turn it off, put it in neutral and restart it, which is a ball ache. The bike also felt very hot at one point when we were crawling through town in some heavy traffic. Now, that may just be that it's hot because it's air cooled and it's radiating heat between my legs, but I can't help but think some of it was coming from the clutch dragging because it's a friction plate and friction means heat. So, we're going down the road to that. I have a gut feeling that perhaps part of the reason the previous owners were moving this on is because it needs a new clutch. But having a look at various sources, mainly my Climber and Haynes manuals, the things to do when the clutch doesn't fully disengage or it drags is first you check the adjustment, which I've done, that hasn't fixed it. Next thing is, because the engine oil and gearbox oil are one and the same thing and it's a wet clutch, it can be caused by old and degraded oil or the wrong grade of oil, too thick or too thin, can cause you clutch issues. So, we've got the right grade of oil. We're going to stick that in it so it's got nice, fresh, correct oil in it and hope that sorts out the problem. If it doesn't, after that, we are looking at a clutch job. I haven't yet decided if I want to attempt that myself or if I'm just going to pay a professional to do it, because that's much more involved than I've ever gone on any project before. I'm confident I could do it, but it's a fucking lot of work. Like, a lot. And I want to be riding the bike. I want it to be right. I didn't want this to be like my Lifan, and I'm just working on it constantly, more than I'm riding it. So, yeah. But let's just hope that this oil change sorts it out. There is a reason C. Whilst we're doing this and we're taking it apart, particularly around the carburettor and the air intake, I want to find if there's anything restricting this bike. And the reason being is that as we were out riding, it went really well. But I've gone from a 125 to a 535. It didn't feel that powerful. I know it's not a modern bike, I know it's air-cooled and they're less powerful, it's a V-twin, it's meant to be a cruiser, not a sports bike, I know all that, but it didn't feel that much faster than my 125. And there were other 125 riders with us, and yeah, it felt like I was back in the 125 pack. Also, there's a section of road goes from my house to the meeting point. It's arrow straight, used to be a Roman road, for 7 miles. I was full throttle the whole way, and I didn't get over 65. This is meant to have a top speed of 100 mile an hour. I don't want to do 100 mile an hour because that's daft, but I'd like to be able to do 70. Comfortably do 70, I should say, because I might have to go on motorways. In fact, at the time of filming, it's a Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, that same group of friends are riding to Diddley Squat Farm Shop. I really wanted to go, but I can't, mainly because I've gone and double booked myself like a fucking idiot. But also, I just don't feel the bike is ready. I'd be going there full throttle and only be able to do 65 and be holding people up. They have actually said, sorry, if you're on a 125 you can't come because we need to be doing the speeds. Yeah, I'm actually really quite disappointed that the bike has that issue. I think it's restricted because it runs fine. If it was down on power, there was something wrong with it, surely there'd be other symptoms, but this runs perfectly. It just won't go over 65, which makes me think it's been restricted in some way. I mean, they're not very powerful bikes. I don't know why you would restrict it. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm really hoping we just find something. I can take it off, unbolt it, adjust it, whatever, and away we go. But we're just going to have to find out. There may still be issues with the fueling, with the carburetors. If they need cleaning, adjusting, overhauling, that's outside the premise of this video. That'll be subject of another video. So yeah, a few little niggles and adjustments. One potentially looming big issue, the clutch. But mainly just want to make sure it's pucker. So, let's make a start. Right, we're going to start by draining the engine oil. And what I think I'll do is what I did when I changed the oil on the Lifan King and when I do it on my cars, is drain it out and then leave it draining overnight. I'm not riding today, it looks like it's going to rain. It's 4:30 on a Friday afternoon that I'm filming this. I have somewhere to be at 4 o'clock on Saturday, so there's nothing wrong with leaving this overnight to drain into this crusty old roasting tin that I've seconded for the purpose, and then I know every drop of the crusty old oil is out. So we'll let it drain, we'll take the old filter out as well, which is on the other side, leave it overnight, do everything else, and then in the morning we put it back together, put the fresh oil in, and away we go. That's, in my view at least, the ideal way to approach a job like this, is take your time. It does wonder me, these people who want their oil changed on their car in, half an hour, how good actually is that oil change? How much of it is left in there? I mean, the technicians that I've worked with always did their best. First thing they did was drop the oil and then do everything else, and then the last thing that went back in was the sump plug and the fresh oil. But ideally it wants to be left a good few hours so you get every last drop out. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Obviously this is the internet, so people will argue over just about fucking anything. The drain plug is underneath. There's no way I'm getting the camera under there, so you'll just have to believe me. Top tip, we're going to undo the filler cap, because as the oil comes out the bottom, that will let air in, give you a much smoother flow, and it stops it glugging and going fucking everywhere. So, let's get down under here, hoping this is the right shape of tool. This is going really well. The problem is this bar here, to which the foot peg and the gear shifter and everything is mounted, is in the way, so it's really difficult to get to the drain plug. Oh, fuck you, Yamaha. This is not working. There we go, that's the right size. So for the record, it's a 17mm. I should probably take my engagement ring off for this, shouldn't I? There we go, fantastic. All over my fingers, but never mind. And there we look, see, it's pouring out nice and smoothly and filling up that tub very quickly. Shit. Put that up, keep that level. Oh shit, it's coming out the other side now. Oh shit. This is a lot of fucking oil. I need to put that back in. Jesus Christ, I didn't know there was that much in it. Or that this tray was so small. Right. Oh shit. Fucking, this is going really well. Jesus Christ.
Eventually.
Right, let's try that again. Right, I don't think it's going to fill that up. Hopefully not anyway. My partner's just got home and they say they have chocolatey treats, so we'll leave that to drain. I'll be back in a second.
2 hours later.
Right, okay, let's... Oh, mind out, muffin. Get out the fucking way. Right, let's undo this. Looks to be 3 bolts. Good, they're not too tight either. That's what we like. Oh, fucking hell. That's bigger than I thought. Giggity.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
Just put that down there. Wow, that's even bigger. Right, okay. I best lay these out so I remember where they go. That is a bit filthy. I'll put that in there. That has gone all over my exhaust, but never mind. There is at least some oil draining out of it. I think we'll call that it for tonight. You can probably tell by the picture, because these cameras don't handle low light very well at all, that yeah, it's getting dark. I'm going to call that it, go inside, come back in the morning. Good morning. It is the following day. The oil has drained entirely from the engine. For those of you that are curious just how much oil goes in a Yamaha Virago 535, it is 1.5 baking trays. There you go. No need to look it up. Alright, let's crack on. So let's put the filter back in. I've already put the sump plug back in. Got to use my new torque wrench this time as well. Yeah, if anyone's wondering, 43 Newton meters of torque is the specification. Just make sure I've got that last droplet of oil out of there. Yeah, that's good. This is nice and clean. We have a new O-ring for it as well as a filter. And what I didn't notice when I took the sump plug off was that didn't have a washer on it. A sealing washer. I mean, it wasn't leaking, but yeah, I've put the washer on that came with the kit. So that's that sorted. So yeah, we'll get this on, get it filled back up with oil, and then we'll crack on with the other bits. New filter, bright red. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It's called a high flow filter. I suppose that's good. It's not a fucking performance bike, so I'm not going to get too hung up on the brand. Yeah, nice little oil filter, so that can live in there. No, muffin, don't stand on the engine oil. And that slots over the top like that. And then as you tighten it down, it presses all the rubber together. Push that onto there. And it was the long one on the left. There we go. Right. Fill up the oil and then we'll crack on with the rest. Rather frustratingly, my Haynes manual says that the bike takes 3.1 litres of oil, and the owner's manual, because this came with a brilliant owner's manual to this bike, says it takes 2.8 litres, which may not sound like much of a difference, but I mean, it's, you know, you get it wrong, it's over 10%. We're going to go with the 2.8 because, well, that's what the manufacturer says, not some third-party company. And also, if it's not enough, I can always add more, and it's a lot easier to add more oil than it is to take out a small amount, because it'll probably just go all over the fucking place like it did earlier, and then you may as well just do the whole job again. So, funnel in there. I'm really hoping it's 2.8 as well, because I only got 3 litres with the service pack that I ordered, so if it is 3.1, that's not right good of you there, Wiimoto, but I suspect they're going off the manufacturer's specification, not the Haynes manual specification, so yeah, we'll stick with the manufacturer's specification. Right. That's 1 litre done. Two litres done. There we go. 2.8 litres exactly. Now, can I see it in the little viewing window? Oh, look at that, I can. Oh. And that says something about how mucky the engine oil was before. Alright, just push the bike up level, which, by the way, Yamaha is a terrible way to do this, because at any moment this bike could fucking land on me. Oh, I've just noticed it says on the side here 2.8, well, 2,800 centimetres cubed, so that's, yeah, 2.8 litres. Cracking. Yeah, that dial on the side shows me fuck all. But, to be fair, it's all going to be sitting in the bottom, so it's probably showing fuller than it is. It hasn't filled up the filter yet, so let's start her up for a few seconds, let the oil circulate, and then we'll recheck. Oops. That should do it. And it's immediately just cloudy as fuck. Oh yeah, what is the fucking point of that little viewing window? I can't see shit. Yeah, as soon as you run an engine, the engine oil is pretty much just like cloudy and black straight away. Now the oil that I took out was obviously quite old, because that was properly black. But just those few seconds, I now can't see shit in that window. What is the actual point of that? Why couldn't they put a dipstick on it? Fucking idiots. Right, let's get on with some spanner spinning and less of this oil shite, because, I'm sorry, but engine oil is a vile substance.
Because it is a vile drink that turns even the most respectable men into complete scoundrels.
But why is the
Engine oil? God. Okay, next up we're going to do air filter, which, for some reason, is under the tank. It's almost like they don't want you changing this shit. Right, let's get on with it. That's concerning. They're not even tight. Yes. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Muffin. Did that get you? So I suppose you learned something new by doing this. I thought this was the tank, and under the seat was the reserve tank, because it does say it has a reserve. And what was happening was, when you flick the reserve switch, it opened a solenoid which allowed it to draw fuel from the reserve. When you're on main, it's only drawing it from this, and then you can draw it from that. And if you ran on reserve, it's just going to drain them both at the same time. Looking at it now though, this doesn't store very much fuel, but there's two fuel lines coming off it, a thick one and this thinner one. So it looks like when you're filling it up, fuel is coming out to the bottom of it, and both of these, and filling up both tanks. And then I bet when you flick the solenoid, it does the same thing, but you're initially drawing fuel from here, and then there's another smaller one somewhere else. But yeah, you have two separate fuel tanks, and they're filled from these two hoses. Plus you have this thing on top as well, which can also be filled with fuel. That's actually quite clever. I thought it was a bit daft having such a small tank on, but it's not a small tank, it's just that your main tank is somewhere else. And this is almost like a bonus tank. Fair play to you, Yamaha. There we go. Yeah. There's no fuel in that. Fuel vapours that I can smell, but yeah, no actual fuel in it. That is just... well, it is a tank, but it's more just a cover covering all this shit up. Quite clever, that. Right, so the air filter is under here, under this round bit, and it looks like it comes up from here around this pipe through the filter, and then the carburetors are directly under this square bit, which feels a bit loose. Let's just undo this big screw here. Fuck. Okay. That is the air filter element. That honestly doesn't look that bad. I was really hoping that would be clogged to shit. And the reason I was hoping for that was that would explain the lack of power that we're hunting as well. But alas, that is not the case. Let's just get the other one out. Ooh. Ah, now that is interesting. Look at the diameter on these holes.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
This is the new one. This is the old one.
That one is also sexual.
Also, if you look down there, it's like a plastic tube all the way to the bottom, whereas this is completely free-flowing. Could that be our restriction? I mean, I've looked online at people restricting Viragos, and some say it's just a disc that you put in the air intake. Some people have been saying, oh, you change the jets on the carburetor. Could that be our restriction that this air filter's doing? That might be it. I can't be that lucky, surely, that it's as simple as changing that. No. Let's pop the new one in and... yeah. I can't see out with that that's restricting it. There is a baffle, like a shield, which is sort of at a wedge like that. I suspect that's more to stop it sucking water up rather than to actually restrict it. Okay, worth a look. I think may well have just been that air filter. That's a very specialist part though, to restrict a Virago like that. I mean, who would restrict a Virago? They're not exactly the most powerful thing in the world. Sure, that gives me a thought. Rant time here. Feel free to skip ahead. The amount of time and effort and manpower and the people involved in designing a vehicle, it is enormous. Now, I'm here looking at this relatively straightforward piece of plastic. However, assuming it does what I think it does, which is catch water, someone, right, in the 80s, 90s, whenever this bike was being designed, has had to sit with not very much computing power and work out this angle, where the air is going to flow, the weight of water, the airflow at various rev ranges and speeds, and make it so that if for whatever reason water is getting up into your air intake, at least the vast majority of it is fed into here and can safely be drained away rather than clogging up your air filter. That it's got some serious engineering behind it, and yet we see it as just a piece of plastic. And this is a 90s motorbike. Imagine the amount that goes into designing a modern car. I mean, fuck me. You know, every single bit of that car will have a particular purpose, and an engineer of some sort will have worked on it, and you know, there'll be intense mathematics that I certainly can't fucking do, and the majority of people probably wouldn't even be able to approach doing. And then, not only have they got to design this part to do its job perfectly, it probably then has to interact with every other part around it, like some sort of fucking automotive minesweeper game, and potentially parts which, to the untrained eye, are completely unrelated. And the fact that all of that works at all is something of a small fucking miracle, let's be honest. So, and that's what always annoyed me when I was working in the motor trade. You'd have someone bring in their 10-year-old car and it's got a fault with it, and let's say it's a known fault, you know, we've seen it a couple of times before, or, you know, and if you can guarantee if a garage has seen it once before, they'll say it's a common fault. You know, a dealership obviously has access to much more data, and they'll be able to say it's not that common, but of course we've seen it before. And then you go on the internet and it'll tell you that it's the worst thing in the world ever, and there should have been a recall 100 years ago or something. And people will say things, oh, well, it's a bit of a design fault though, isn't it? I expect you to fix it under warranty. It's like, your car's 7 years out of warranty, you silly cow. You know, and people say, oh, a bit of a design flaw. Let's see you do fucking better. Some people are far too easy to criticise things which they have no understanding of. I think half of it comes down to, it was nearly always boomers that would make stupid comments like that, but occasionally my generation would do it, which is intensely shameful. But it's normally they're just trying to get out of paying for something. Nobody wants to spend money maintaining their car unless you're an enthusiast for it. And unfortunately that made for some really just, well, some behaviour that I saw was just downright fraudulent. People would agree to repairs and then they'd come in and say, no, I never agreed to that, I'm not paying for it. And it got to the point where I'd get some people, if they were known for it, to put it in writing. I'd email them rather than ring them, or I'd record conversations with them, and other people would be downright vile. They'd start calling you names, shouting and swearing at you, basically trying to kick up a fuss in front of all your other customers. So it's a guarantee that they turn up when there's a full showroom, in the hope that you'd give them what they want so that they be quiet. I never fucking have time for people like that. In fact, I often took great pleasure in embarrassing them. Oh fuck, you know what I've forgotten to do? Put this back in. Stuart, you fucking tit. Right, let's just start her up. Let's just see. 'Cause I wonder. Well, it seemed to start a little easier, but there was something of a misfire there. Okay. I think in terms of whether or not it's restricted, I'm going to have to give it a road test, which we'll do later. Right, next. Next up is the fuel filter. I'm glad I didn't put everything back together because it's that thing right there. Looks reasonably simple to get to. Mind you, I say that a lot, and they never fucking are. But yeah, let's get that off, and then the last thing to do is spark plugs, followed by a test ride. Oh, fuel in there, never mind. Not really anything to see, it's quite opaque. Other than there's a direction arrow, so fuel flows that way through it. Fine. Now let's get the new one. This one is nice and see-through and still has the direction arrow on it. Chances are the internals are exactly the same as the one I took off, but at least now we'll be able to see how well it's doing. See how mucky it is. So that goes on there. Well, as much as you can when there's a big whopping rubber thing over the top of it, but whatever. There we are. Now I know I've spilt a little bit, but I've no idea if it's coming across on camera, but it's already evaporating, so I'm not too worried about that. What we'll do is leave the seat off, let that ventilate, and it'll evaporate by the time we come to use it. I am a little curious, mind. I wonder what happens if I put the ignition on, because you can normally hear the fuel pump priming. Is it going to fill that up with fuel? Let's just... It's not. Okay, never mind. What will probably happen is when we come to start it up, is it'll cough and splutter and die because there's air in the system. And you just got to keep it going. Just keep trying until it works through that air, and it'll run perfectly fine afterwards. Right, next is spark plugs, and then we just put it all back together. So to get to the spark plugs, we remove these cylinder head covers, and then they're supposedly just underneath there. Can't actually see the spark plugs from here, but they're going to be on one side or the other. Hopefully nice and simple. Let's get on with this. Oh, okay, well that's fucking typical. There's no spark plug there. Right, let's just put that one back. Ah, there it is. Look at that. HT lead looks to be in good nick. Where's my spark plug removal tool? Okay, that looks reasonably okay. Interestingly, I'll try and get it on camera. These two points, I can't remember what they're called, are normally perfectly aligned. That one looks almost bent over to one side. It's a bit corroded here and there as well, around here, but not actually inside. A little bit of carbon build up, nothing major. Alright, let's get the new one. Now the gaps look the same, although it has to be said, this one is perfectly aligned. Maybe this was dropped before it was installed. Alright. Does not want to go back on there. I've just noticed it's missing a piece. I didn't notice it at first, but yeah, they have this cap on, which is what's meant to wedge the HT lead onto it, and that's missing it. It's definitely not on the floor. Alright, I'm going to take the other one out and see what that one looks like. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's on the other side. That one's missing it too, I can feel it. much same condition as the other one. That's missing its little cap as well. It's making me wonder now, am I supposed to remove that? That doesn't look like it's gonna fit. But I've literally never removed that on a spark plug before. And that is a nice fit. Alright, let's remove it then. After this cylinder is a bit of a ball ache to get to because of this thing. Right, that does it. I'm out of parts. Feels a bit weird finishing a job this straightforward. Normally something goes wrong. Let's start her up, make sure she runs before I put everything back together, and then it's test ride time. Now that sounded better on start up. It's still not keen on you revving it. It seems to sort of misfire then, but that's probably because it's a stone cold start and carburet engines don't really seem to like that. I think what I'll do is, once we've got it exposed, try and get a bit more lubrication on that. Although it's not so bad at the moment. We'll get a bit more lubrication on here on the carburetor, and then reassemble it. Right. Has to be said, I'm still not overly happy with how it springs back. I'm feeling there's a spring under there. I can see it. I'm feeling that is perhaps not strong enough anymore for the return. But I don't have one, so it'll have to do for now. Right, reassembly. Okie dokie then, conclusions. I'm gonna say, great success.
Great success.
Yeah, took it out for a initial test ride. Just did sort of a loop around the local roads, about 25 miles. Massive improvement. The top speed has gone up. I can get past 65 now. I won't say how high I went, but it's not quite to the quoted top speed, but it's fast enough for UK roads, shall we say. And it certainly feels a lot better as well. It's certainly a lot more perky. When I give it that throttle, it goes. Previous rides, I had to sort of ease into the throttle and to get the acceleration. Now I just whip it round and off it goes. You get that fantastic exhaust note and you're away. It's brilliant. A lot better on the starting. I don't really know why there's a choke on this. I haven't needed to use it. Mind you, I have barely used the choke on this either. I think I used it once and it was like -2 when I was starting it, so yeah, whatever. But yeah, did that 25-mile ride. It was perfect. No issues with the clutch either. It wasn't dragging. It disengages fully as it should, and I could select neutral at the end of the ride, which I couldn't before. I then went on another ride. I went to a D&D session later in the evening. That was about 65 miles round trip. Yeah, about an hour each way it is. And same result. Fantastic. Obviously, it performed the same. Good speed, good performance, acceleration, etc. But at the end of both legs of the journey, clutch was fine as well. So it looks like changing the oil has sorted it, which I am really happy with. I'm really happy I don't need to put a clutch in this, because that was either going to be money I had to spend or a lot of time and effort on my part, because that's above my skill level, is that. I just know it is. I mean, I haven't looked. It might be a lot simpler than I think it is, but my gut feeling is that's a lot of work, and I wasn't overly confident in doing that. But I don't need to do it. It's sorted it. And at the moment, the bike is faultless. So I'm trying not to worry about it. There's nothing wrong with the bike. With a bit of luck, you won't get any videos about it this year, because I won't have anything to do. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Well, apart from these tours and holidays that I'd really like to go on. So yeah, great success. Happy I did it. Still actually need to look at the carburettor issue, but I'm fairly sure that's just going to be the little return spring for fixing the throttle returning. And I should probably readjust the clutch, because the bite point is right at the end of the travel, which I don't really like. You're letting it out and it tends to snatch. But that's just an adjustment. That doesn't need a video. Right, it's pissing it down today, so I'm consigned to housework, no riding. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.
Thank you for watching this video on doing stuff and filming it. Please don't forget to press the big button here in the middle to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you liked what you just saw, please click the like button below and leave a comment letting me know what you liked about it. And as always, thank you for watching.